Welcome to Voice Notes with Ali, the podcast where I explore what it truly means to live from the heart, to create your reality from the inside out, and to meet life with coherence and clarity and intention. My name's Ali Haig, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Inner Harmony Movement. And if you'd love to go deeper into this work, you'll find all of our programs and resources and information about our Boom Room sessions at innerharmonymovement.com. All right, let's dive in. Today, I want to talk about something that's been moving through my awareness the past weeks and also through our community, and that is balance. It's not the kind of balance, though, that you see on a meditation meme. I mean actual, real human balance. You know, the balance that lives inside your nervous system, in your emotional body, the balance in your relationships, in your capacity to hold and handle life. Because balance for me isn't always tidy, and it's not about being peaceful. And balance isn't in the absence of chaos. Balance is a skill, and it's something we build. Balance is something we practice. Balance is something we choose, and sometimes we choose it 100 times a day. So today I want to explore what balance actually is and how it lives inside your window of tolerance, and why December activates the hell out of our nervous system, and why this work matters so deeply for you and your family and the future that you're stepping into. So I want to start with a story. A few days ago, I was sitting outside in the Queensland humidity on my balcony, watching my little Foxy absolutely lose her mind at a blue tongue lizard that had decided to take this slow amble stroll across our balcony. And in that moment, it was chaos. The dog was barking, the lizard was unimpressed, my girls were yelling at the dog, and then the smoke alarm went off unannounced. And I remember thinking, okay, this is a lot. And then in the middle of all of that, I caught myself. I noticed the noise. I noticed the pace. I noticed my body starting to slightly contract. And in that moment, I actually laughed, and I thought, if my nervous system can stay balanced here, if my heart can stay open, I've got this. I can actually stay balanced anywhere. And because this is the truth that we don't talk about enough, balanced is actually forged in the middle of life. Balance is forged, it's not forged, I should say, when everything is quiet and perfect. Not when you have the house to yourself, not when your email inbox is empty and your bills are all paid and the day is organized and your to-do list is complete or even just achievable. Balance actually shows up in the noise. It shows up in the mess, in the interruptions, in the stress, in the overwhelm, in the hormones of the teenagers, in the barking dogs, in the deadlines, in your life admin. Balance isn't the absence of this stuff. It's your ability to stay in connection with yourself while it's all happening. And that was my moment this week, my moment of awareness. With all of those things happening, with the lizard and the dog and the smoke alarm and the humidity. And I was actually able to stay present. I didn't snap. I didn't go into that internal rush. I breathed into coherence. I became the observer of the noise. I softened my shoulders. I dropped into my heart and I found my center. I was present. And that's how I knew my nervous system is so completely different to the woman that I used to be. Now here's the mistake I see some people make, and they think that balance means the absence of challenge. But life is built on polarity, right? Hot and cold, busy, spacious, giving, receiving, activation and rest. Polarity is not the problem. Polarity is actually the architecture of being human. It's the architecture of the universe. Balance is your relationship to polarity. Balance is how you meet the moment. Balance is the capacity that you've built inside of yourself to stay steady even when the poles pull you in opposite directions. Balance is knowing that you can hold both. You can hold both the stress and the softness. You can hold the pressure and the pause. You can hold the bigness of your life and the tenderness of your heart at the same time. Because balance is not static. It's a dance. It's a dance that your nervous system is always choreographing, whether you're aware of it or not. So one of the things that we teach inside Heart Brain Harmony and in our community is one of the most important concepts for emotional well-being, and that's called your window of tolerance. And it's the space where your nervous system can function well, where you can think clearly, you can feel deeply, you can connect with others, and you can respond instead of react, no matter what's going on outside of you. Inside your window of tolerance, you have bandwidth, you have presence, you have emotional flexibility. But when you're pushed beyond that window, and that can happen to any of us, that's the human experience, things can change quickly. So sometimes we can go up into hyperarousal, where there's some urgency or irritability or stress or overwhelm. Our thoughts can race. We move into that fight or flight response, that tightness in your chest. Or we can drop down into hypoarousal. And that's where I talk about with the kids, where you can get stuck off, where you shut down, you avoid, you withdraw, you feel flat, exhausted, disconnected. You feel like, I just can't do this anymore. Now, I want you to know that neither is wrong, neither is failure. These are protective mechanisms that your nervous system has been trained to do to keep you safe. They're just simply signs that your system is over capacity. And here's the thing, December narrows that window of tolerance for nearly everyone. When we think about December, we think sensory overload, the crowded shops, the emotional expectations, the family dynamics, the end of year fatigue, the budget, the financial pressure, the noise, the kids home from school. Your system is navigating so much more than usual in this month, and it's completely understandable that balance feels harder. But here's the empowering part, the part that I want you to focus on. Your window is not fixed. Your window of tolerance can expand with practice, repetition, and consistency, and it strengthens with heart-brain coherence. It grows with self-awareness and nervous system literacy. So the more you practice bringing yourself back into your window, even in small ways, the more capacity you build. And the more capacity you build, the more balanced you become. Balance is not calmness. Balance is capacity. Now, heart-brain coherence is one of the most powerful tools that we have for expanding your window of tolerance. When you breathe into your heart, you slow your system and create safety, and you activate that elevated emotion, your entire physiology changes. Your hormones shift. Your heart rhythm smooths. Your brain receives different information. Your emotional center quietens. Your vagus nerve strengthens. Your heart rate variability, which is your resilience marker, increases. When you do this consistently, your baseline shifts. So instead of reacting to life, you start responding. Instead of spiraling, you come back home faster. Instead of carrying emotional loads for days, you release them in minutes. Instead of being activated by every little thing, you develop space inside of yourself, things that used to trigger you. All of a sudden you find you can face them with a greater internal presence and ease. Because coherence doesn't remove pressure, it gives you the capacity to hold it. Coherence doesn't delete polarity, it lets you dance with it. Coherence doesn't make life perfect, it makes you powerful. And that is what balance actually feels like. It's a body that can hold life without collapsing under it. Now, here's the part that I find often surprises people. You don't regulate best in isolation. You actually regulate best in connection. So your nervous system is actually wired for co-regulation. That's part of our human experience. It learns safety through relationships, and it expands through community. And this is why the Boom Room is such a unique experience. Every day, our community comes together to drop into heart-brain coherence together. We breathe into coherence. We settle and create safety in our nervous systems. We attune to the goodness in the world. And something extraordinary happens. People regulate faster. People soften quicker. People expand their window without even trying. People start to move into these elevated emotional states without anything happening outside of them. They're coming home to their essence, to their connection to their heart, to their natural state of being. And when you practice balance in community, your nervous system learns it more deeply. You quite literally borrow the coherence of the group until it becomes your own. You become steadier, calmer, more grounded, more able to show up as the version of yourself you actually want to be, especially for your loved ones, your partner, your kids, your colleagues, your clients. Your regulated state becomes the emotional climate of your home. You become the anchor. You become the lighthouse. You become the calm in the storm, the person everyone else unconsciously calibrates to. And that is what balance looks like in action. But it requires community, consistency, repetition, and understanding. So as we move through December, with all of its beauty and its magic and its spirit, but all of the bigness and the noise and the emotion, I want you to remember this. Balance is not a destination. Balance is a skill. Balance is built inside your body, and balance is strengthened through practice and presence and community. Now, if you'd love a place to practice this daily, a place that meets you exactly where you are, in the busyness and fullness of your real life, you are so welcome to join us in the Boom Room. It's all completely online. You can join from everywhere, anywhere. Each session is like 5 or 10 minutes. They're all hosted live, up to 7 times a day. You can show up as many times a day that works for you in your schedule. I want you to know this isn't about adding more to your to-do list. What heart-brain coherence does in community, it removes the overwhelm from your day, and it builds your capacity inside your nervous system to move through life with more ease, more steadiness, more clarity, and more grace. No matter what is happening outside of you, it actually gives you more time back in your day because you're moving through it with a grace. It's about widening the space between you and the noise. It's about supporting you to remember your center. It's about coming home to yourself in a way that becomes effortless over time. So the link is in the show notes, along with everything else we do at theinnerharmonymovement.com. Come and breathe into heart-brain coherence with us if this resonates for you. Come and anchor into the version of you that can meet this season and every season with a steady heart. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for doing the inner work that truly ripples out into the world, because your heart matters. This is Voice Notes with Ali. I see you. I'm grateful for you. And I'll see you in the next episode. And remember, your heart is the gift the world has been waiting for.